ขอต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าสู่การบรรยายรอบบ่ายของงานอาสา International Forum 2014 นะคะแต่ก่อนที่เราจะเริ่มงานกันขอย้ำอีกครั้งหนึ่งค่ะว่ารบกวนขอความร่วมมือทุกท่านปิดโทรศัพท์มือถือนะคะการถ่ายภาพในขณะบรรยายก็ขอให้งดเว้นนะคะแล้วก็สำหรับท่านที่ใช้หูฟังกรุณาปรับระดับเสียงให้อยู่ในระดับที่เหมาะสมไม่รบกวนผู้ฟังข้างเคียงค่ะสำหรับท่านที่ต้องการสะสมแต้มพวต.กรุณากรอกข้อแบบฟอร์มนะคะแล้วก็หย่อนลงในกล่องบริเวณทางออกนะคะเวลาท่านออกจากห้องส่วนท่านที่นำรถมาท่านสามารถประทับตราจอดรถได้ที่เคาน์เตอร์ด้านหน้าค่ะ Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the afternoon session of ASA International Forum 2014. We have another two inspiring speakers to share their ideas with us. But before I introduce our next speaker, please allow me to remind you to turn off your mobile phone. Taking photo is not permitted. For those of you who use translating headset, please control the volume to an appropriate level, not to disturb others next to you. For those of you who need CPD scores, please fill in the form and put it in the box provided at the exit before you leave the room. Parking receipt can also be stamped in front of the hall. Now it's time to begin our afternoon sessions. Our next speaker is Vasa Perović of Bevk Perović architekti, an architecture practice based in Ljubljana, Slovenia. Bevk Perović architekti was founded by Matija Bevk and Vasa Perović in 1997. The office portfolio covers an array of projects in Slovenia as well as abroad. Some of its works demonstrate how concepts are largely influenced by restricted conditions from program, site, and culture. But the firm architectural design and treatments reinterpret simple formal requirements to redefine contemporary Slovenian design approach with dynamic structure and spatial interplay. Vasa J. Perović graduated from Faculty of Architecture, Belgrade University, and received a master's degree from Berlage Institute of Architecture in Amsterdam. He is a professor at Faculty of Architecture, University of Ljubljana, and has been a visiting professor at several institutions. Bevk and Perović are also co-founder of T5 Project Space, an open platform for design idea exchange in Ljubljana. Please welcome Vasa Perović.
Hi, is it working, this thing? Okay, so I'm just going to use my glasses for a second to see you all, and then take them off so I don't see you again. Hi, thanks for this kind of introduction. You almost got all the pronunciations right, but it's difficult anyway. So thanks for the invitation and thanks for this hospitality that I've had from ASA and from all the people involved, especially from my two students in the last 2 days. Actually, it's fun to be in Bangkok. I've told some of you that I've been here, quite a few times before, but actually I was here also as a student. I did a kind of a summer term many, many years ago, unfortunately, maybe a quarter of a century practically. So I know Bangkok from a different perspective, and now it was a good opportunity to see it again. What kept on bothering me all the time was what on earth are we going to talk about from our perspective, because our perspective is completely different in Thailand. Because our experience of architecture is just inevitably so different from yours. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other, but I'm just saying that there is this kind of incredible difference. And but of course we can only talk about what we do, and I was trying to think of what the possibilities, what could be the possibilities that somehow, what are the things that we share, and what are the things that we differ in, no? And I always try to, I'm going to walk forever, so I apologize in advance, because I can't sit. What are the similarities and what are the differences? I just try to always use things that actually exist around me, and this thing is hanging in my living room. It's a work by a Spanish artist, a Catalan artist, in fact. His name is Ignacio Balli, and it's called Cielos. It's the skies. So what he does is he cuts the skies from the daily papers, Spanish daily papers, and archives them. And he cuts only the skies. He doesn't cut the events that take place underneath these skies. So it's something that we almost definitely share, but also something that makes us different. You see the skies from different parts of the world, and all these skies are related to political events. I can't read them, but maybe you can. But in a way, it's something that brings us all together, and it's also something that kind of gives a tone to everything that we do. So I think it's very important for us, the sky where we come from, and we come from Slovenia. I'm not Slovene myself. I'm just working in Slovenia for the past 15 years since I started the office. But we are somewhere, wait, for this I need another thing. We are somewhere, well, okay, we are somewhere over there. It's a small part of this map. So Ljubljana and Slovenia stuck somewhere in between Austria, Hungary, Italy, and Croatia. And this is where I've been working with my partner, who is Slovene, for the last 15 years. Slovenia is one of the countries of the former Yugoslavia. But in fact, Slovenian territory, it's only independent for the first time, well, for 21 years this year. But if you draw a circle like this is just an illustration of 600 kilometers or 300 kilometers half diameter. You see the kind of influences that have been happening in this region and in where we live over the centuries. Basically, it was under Italian and Austrian rule, and then afterwards it was part of Yugoslavia. So it was all these different cultural influences that happened. And also, if you look at it, I mean, we are actually within a reach of Venice and within a reach of Vienna and Munich. So this gives you the idea of the cultural space we inhabit. This is the actual space where we work. This is the city of Ljubljana. It is an extremely, pocket capital. I think that this fairgrounds where we are giving this talk is probably larger than the city that we live in, and maybe even has more people today, because this is 300,000 people. Slovenia in total is 2 million people, so it's basically like probably only one suburb of, or one very large market of Bangkok. It's a mix of medieval city and Baroque city, and then with some modernist influences. But it's an incredible place to work, because it's kind of practically in the middle of Europe, and it has all these overlapping cultures in it. Slovenia, if you talk to people from Europe, everybody talks about landscape in Slovenia, because it's apparently very famous for being incredibly beautiful. We are architects, and we sit in the office most of the time, so we don't see this landscape. But these are my partner's parents. They're retired. They're also architects, but they're retired, so they get to climb the mountains. It's also the second most wooded country in Europe after Finland. But also, over time, there have been all these different kinds of local architectures that also developed, mainly with, of course, it was never a country of very, very educated people, but maybe this kind of rural interventions. These are the hayracks, so-called hayracks. These are the constructions that are made for drying grass in the autumn for the cattle. And they practically are this kind of houses which in autumn become like these kind of huge piles of like hairy grass, and then during the rest of the year they look like something like this. So there are a lot of these very specific things that also developed on the territory of Slovenia over time. There were also very unspecific things. I think this is something that we all commonly share. The destruction that we have, let's say, done over the space that we inhabit is common to everybody. It's common to the entire European Union, it's common to the entire world, and I think it's very common in Thailand as well. So this is a Slovenian nuclear village which has been completely destroyed in the last few decades. And then what is specific to Slovenia is that there is one architect. His name is Jože Plečnik. I don't imagine that you will ever remember his name. But there's this one architect who basically is in the base of Slovenian culture. The Slovenian idea of themselves and the Slovenian idea of culture is related very much to the personality of an architect. And he built, this is the National Library of Slovenia. He built practically what you see today as the city of Ljubljana. He was a student of Otto Wagner, went to Prague, he constructed the Prague Castle, reconstructed it for the first Czech Prime Minister, then came to Slovenia and practically built Ljubljana that you see today. he is very similar. I mean, the only parallel that you can find is maybe Alvar Aalto in Finland, somebody who is really so deeply and intrinsically linked to the idea of national being. So this is the guy we had on our money, no? When we didn't have euros, of course. And what he tried to do, he tried to, I wouldn't say really create, I'm not talking about style here, but he tried to kind of bring together all of the influences that existed around Slovenia or around Europe at the time. And, oops, I can talk, but I can't describe the slides.
I think this is Vasa, it's a light out.
Okay.
You have the seats first.
Yeah, sure. Ah. Hmm? Can I talk? Okay, still wait.